morning everyone, thank you for popping by. It's Carol here at Oak House Journals. Well, it's Monday and I usually like to start off my week by doing my Margarete Miller assignment as part of the challenge that she's hosting this year. If the challenge is new to you, please look in the description box below the video as there's a link there to her channel. It's not too late to start and trust me, it's great fun. I've been doing it for a couple of years now and I'm absolutely hooked. This morning I'm going to do assignment number 19 as you can see here, and I've got my prompts and also I've got my prompt pieces. So very quickly taking you through what I've lifted out to hit the prompts. Something found in a doctor's office. Well, back in the day, doctors used to dispense medication. It's done by pharmacies now or the chemist, but back in the day they used to. And I've lifted out a couple of faux labels. I've got this one here for boric acid, which says to use externally for dressing wounds, ringworm and eczema, and it's also an eye lotion. And this one, diluted hydrochloric acid. I wasn't sure what that would be used for, but apparently hospitals used to use hydrochloric acid and administer it intravenously through a central vein to treat something called metabolic alkalosis, which when I googled that, because I had no idea what it was, when I googled it, it effectively means elevated or increased levels of pH in the body. So both of these are medical related. So I've got those to use. The next prompt is a spiral or swirl pattern. I've got this lovely piece of paper here and it's got almost an iridescent rose gold colour to the swirl pattern, and if I put that one with it you can see why I've chosen it. Not so much this one, but certainly this one goes. The third prompt is textured paper. Well, I've got this piece of wrapping paper that has been painted over the top, and that gives it a lovely texture to it because the paint is not absorbed, it's sitting on the top, particularly this gold here. A coupon. Well, I've got these faux food ration coupons, and this came from the Imperial War Museum in Manchester, and I've used it several times, so I'm going to use some of those. Next one is a measurement. Well, I've gone for this little fraction here, this half, which is a measurement. And finally, something that starts with D. Well, I'm going with a medical theme, so I thought a doctor. Initially, I've got these two quirky little chappies here. Just thought they were adorable, so I've got those to use. But I've also got this one, and this is the one I'm leaning towards. As you can see, this is a caricature of David Tennant, so D for David, but also David played one of the doctors in the Doctor Who series. I'm preferring him because of the colours, and if I put that and that with him, you can see it's picking up the browns, so I think that's working quite well. This one also works quite well because of the pinky tones, which picks up the pinky tones of his skin and his trainers down here. So it looks like I've more or less got a collage going there already. But let me get going. As always, I'm going to put this in front of me and whoops, it's fallen down. And I've got my background piece, border drawn round, as I'm always saying. I'm going to pull off the first coupon and just have a look at the size on here. Obviously you don't want that border down the side, so let's just cut that away. Now if I use the whole of that coupon, it doesn't really give me a lot to play with. I'm going to work with David Tennant and put my other two doctors to one side. I can always pull them in later if I want to. Let's have a look at David Tennant on here. I'd like to get some of these numbers showing at the top here. I'm going to pop that in there for now. It's a bit bright in this bottom left hand corner. I've got grey tones going on up here, so I'm going to use it that way round. I'd like to get this number showing down there. Let's pull that over a little bit. I could cut David Tennant out, fussy cut him, but I'm not going to for now. Okay, now the blue picks up the blue in his jacket there. And if I trimmed this down a little bit, I could move everything across to the left, which would work. Probably will cut away some of the top and bottom on this one, but I'll just play with things at the moment and see how the placement goes. Let me try this label. Not sure why I'm laying it over the top, but I just feel like I want to. And where's this one going to go? Could it go in there? You could just go with something like that. Because I want that number showing there, I can't trim the coupon down this side. Can take a little bit away. So let me do that and see what it looks like. So there you go, you saw me trim away quite a bit of this coupon all the way round, which gives me a little bit more room to play with. This one, because I want this number showing, I'm just going to line it up with the dotted line above the number. Gives me a staggered corner here. Probably could bring it out a little bit more, and similarly I could lift that one up and out a little bit more. Bring David in. Want him almost centered on this textured paper. I'm liking how that's looking. I'm going to trim the white closer to the border on this label here, and I'm going to have this up in there, I think, so that it's staggered. Move David out a little bit more there, and then the whole thing needs to move over to the left hand side a little bit more. So let me just trim this one down. Just gives me a little bit more wiggle room on this side here. Don't want it tucked under there, I think it's lost there, but if I have it there, I think that works. Because I've got a lot going on here, I'm wondering if that is fighting too much because it's coloured, and that softens it down. I've got the white against this, but then I've got the white in the background here. I'm wondering about dropping it down there. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Pull that one down. I've got a bit of this paper showing down that side, so I could get rid of that if I wanted to. I could have that there like that. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's working better, I think. If I leave this like this, I would ink the edges of this piece so that I haven't got so much of a white on white transition happening at the bottom there. So let me ink the edges of this one. This is how I'm going to have my piece. I'm just going to glue everything in place in a moment. I am still looking at this one, and as much as I like that, I think I'm going to go with the David Tennant piece here. I've also looked at this on here. I love the colour against his suit, but whilst it's a smaller label, it is bigger print, and I think that blends into the background better and makes him more of a focal element. So I'm going to go with this, and I'm just going to glue everything together, and then I'll be back. This is all glued down and in place now and just ready for me to glue onto my background. It is looking a little bit stark on there, which is fine because this is my working area. But what I've done is I've lifted out this book, and as I've mentioned previously, you do get some pages at the start, like this. You get pages at the start of each chapter, and I thought it might be nice to have a look and see what might be nice to form a background so that it breaks up this stark whiteness at the back. So I've lifted out these three colours, or three pages. If I put this and almost frame it, then let me move that across. That works really well, other than I don't think it's picking up that pink nicely against this. Certainly working well with that and everything else, but this pink is a little bit dodgy, I think, so I'm not going to go with that one. I've got this orange here, which definitely works well with these beigey browny colour tones, and this rose gold doesn't work well with that pink either, and you've got quite a clash with that, so that's not the one. This works beautifully. You've got a nice colour match or tone match with the pink on this paper, and it blends pretty much with everything else, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to cut a small portion of that. I'm not going to have it filling the whole of that, because if I do that it would be cut about here, but if I do that, then all you're seeing really is the background, and it's too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it down quite a bit, and I'll be back when that's done. This is my finished assignment now. Trimmed down the background and everything's glued in place on my white cardstock. So quickly to go through the prompts that we've got here for week 19. Something found in a doctor's office. Well, I went for this diluted hydrochloric acid label there. A spiral or swirl pattern, I went with this little piece in the back there. Textured paper, well, that was this piece here. A coupon, well, that was my faux rationing coupon. A measurement, I went with half here, that fraction, and something that starts with D. Well, I went with David Tennant, who played one of the doctors in the Doctor Who series. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. Really loved having your company. I hope you'll join me next Monday for my next assignment, and indeed for the rest of these assignments. There's still quite a few to go before we get to the end of the year and the end of the challenge. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye now.